Hello everyone, this is Joe here. Welcome to my channel. This is my first video and I hope you would like it. My channel is about China and Chinese culture and language. If you want to learn more about my country, my language and my culture, you can subscribe my channel. In this video, I want to talk about dictionaries. Dictionaries are essential tools for aiding in language learners. But I found that many Chinese learners don't have a dictionary. They don't know how to use them either. So in this video, I want to teach you how to use a paper dictionary, and that will help you a lot when you are learning Chinese. There are 5 parts in this video. The first part is the differences between different kinds of dictionaries. The second part is the structure of a dictionary and what information you can get from them. The third part is the different methods of looking up a character and when to use them. The fourth part is how to use the different methods. And the last part is how to choose a good dictionary. Now let's turn to the first part, that is the differences between different kinds of dictionaries. In China, there are 2 main kinds of dictionaries, which are called 字典 and 词典, respectively. They have different main functions. For 字典, which literally is the dictionary for characters, it focuses on characters more, explaining the meaning of the character and the pronunciation of the character. But for 词典, which literally is the dictionary for words and expressions, it focuses on words and expressions more. That is, how to use a character. I recommend you to buy a dictionary for words and expressions, that is 词典. Because if you really want to learn Chinese, you should learn how to use the characters, but not just know the meaning or the pronunciation of a character. In this video, I will use this dictionary for the example. This one. The Dictionary for Modern Chinese. And it's the 6th edition, but the latest edition is the 7th. Which was published in 2016 or maybe 2017. I can't remember, but it doesn't matter. Any edition is okay for this video, because we learn the method, but not the general method, but not the specifically focus on what dictionary. Okay, now let's turn to the structure of a dictionary. Generally, there are 4 parts in a dictionary, and now I will introduce them one by one. The first is the instructions. You don't need to pay much attention on it, and you just need to look through it and see how the compilers arrange the dictionary. That's the function of the instructions. And the third part is some lists. There are 3 main lists. The first list is the syllabary. It is connected to a method I will introduce to you later. The second is the new version and the old version of Chinese characters. It is not simplified or traditional Chinese characters, but only the versions of some characters. I will show you. It is not an important list, so we just look through it and turn to the next list, which is the essential list. The third list, which is the most important list among all, is the list of 部首. Well, I don't know how to translate it in English, but literally it means part of the characters. Here is another concept called 偏旁. There are some differences between 偏旁 and 部首, but it's an issue of philology, and I'm not majoring in philology, so I don't know how to explain it clearly. The only difference I know is that 部首 must be 偏旁, but not vice versa. Some people want to know how to distinguish 部首 and 偏旁, and here's a list in the dictionary, the list of 偏旁, and I will show you. For example, in this dictionary, the list is on the page of 1784. And you say, how to know that if a part is 偏旁 and 部首? The only way I recommend to you is to recite them all. Recite them all. Then after the lists, it's the main part. And at last, the appendix. Well, here's another question. What information I can get from the dictionary? Now let's turn to the random page and I will tell you what information you can get. Let's turn to page 91 of the character. It is the characters pronounced bing. And here you can find the pinyin, which is the way of pronunciation, the way to pronounce it, bing, and then the symbol. The symbol is another pronunciation system, which is now used in the region of Taiwan. I don't know if it is used in Hong Kong, but definitely it is used in Taiwan. And then the characters which pronounced bing in this way, all the characters, and the traditional Chinese, because in mainland of China we use simplified Chinese, and now here is a traditional form of Chinese, and then the pronunciation, the meaning, and the words and expressions about the characters. So abundant information you can get from the dictionary. Now let's turn to the methods of looking up a character. There are two main methods. The first one is by syllabary. Because now you know we have a pronunciation system called pinyin, and if you know how the character is pronounced, you can use this method. And another method is by what I told before, 部首. When you don't know how the character is pronounced, how to pronounce the character, you may use this method. You know how to read it. You don't know how to read it. Sometimes if the character is truly complex, you can use the index of the characters that are hard to search, which is called 难检字索引. It is indexed by strokes. So if you know how to write the character and you just don't know the meaning or the pronunciation, you can use this index by strokes. Here's another concept, strokes. In Chinese it is 笔画. But you must make sure that you count the strokes correctly, because if you count the strokes numbers incorrectly, you won't find out the character. Now let's turn to the most important part of this video, how to use these methods. Well, first of all, I have to tell you that there are three main sets of pages for different parts of the dictionary. I will name them as Set 1, Set 2, and Set 3. Set 1 is for the list of 部首, the content of 部首. In the dictionary, it is the page of 13. And the set 2 is for the list of characters categorized by 部首. And the third set is the main part of the dictionary. In the dictionary, there are two parts, before the main part and in the main part and after the main part. After the main part, and they use the same set. So in my video, there are three sets, set 1, set 2, and set 3. And in the dictionary, there are two sets. So someone will be confused about the pages. That's why I have to tell you about the pages before. Now let's introduce the first method to look up a character by syllabary. And for example, to pronounce a character, you can use this method. And for example, this one. I know how to pronounce it, 词, so I just turn to the syllable and I find 词, C, I, C, 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 I, and it's the second tone. There are 4 tones: first, second, third, and fourth, and it's the second tone. So it is on the page of 211 in set 3. So turn to set 3, 2211. And here is the character. Somebody may feel strange that we only use set 3 in this method. And when will we use set 1 and set 2? And now we will use them. In this method, we will use set 1, 2, 3, or, which is more difficult. That is to look up a character by its bushel. Sometimes when we don't know how to pronounce the character we want to look up, we cannot use the method of syllabary because we don't know how to pronounce it. Now we can only use the method of bushel. We can only look it up by its part. For example, here I offer you a character. Nobody knows how to pronounce it because I choose it randomly from the dictionary, and now I will teach you how to know the pronunciation and the meaning and maybe the words and expressions. The first thing you should do is to write it. The first thing you should do is to divide the character into some parts. For example, in this character, we will divide it into 3 parts. We will divide it into 3 parts. So, and now the character is divided into 3 parts, and we choose one part, this part, because it is the simplest among these 3 parts. Well, after dividing the character, we have to count the strokes of each part. For example, here 1, 2, 2 strokes, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 strokes, and here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes, and we choose this part because it is the most simple part among these 3. And now we turn to the list of bushel. Here it is, the content of bushel. As you can see, there are 3 rows in each column. The first row is the number of the bushel. For example, this is this is number 19. This is number 19 of this is number 19 and the 19th bushel, and this is what it is, and this is the bushel, and this is the this is the page. The page here is page set 2, not page set 3, but page set 2. It's the page set 2, and the characters categorized by 部首. So as we know that the 部首 we choose is 2 strokes. So we find out 2 strokes, and then we find out the 部首 we want. It is on page 19. It is the 17th 部首. I'm sorry, 17th, and then it's on page 19 of page set 2. Page set 2. So let's turn to page set 2. And now we have turned to page 19 of set 2, of page set 2, and we find the 17th 部首. That is this, what we have chosen just now. And now we should know how many strokes of the whole characters. So here you must count the strokes correctly. If you don't count it correctly, you may not find out the character you want. So this 2 plus 15 plus 5 is 22. Now we find 1 to 4 strokes, 5 to 6 strokes, and then blah 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 blah. Here is more than 15 strokes. So 22 is bigger than 22 is larger than 15. So it must be in the category of the characters which is more than 15 strokes. We find it, and here it is. It is there, and the numbers here means the pages of set 3. So here, page 887 and page 1357. It means that it's a polyphone. It has more than 1 pronunciations. So it has more than 1 numbers. So let's turn to page 887, and we can find in page set 3, and we can find out how to pronounce it. So that is one of the pronunciations of this character. You can find out it. So here are the flow charts of different kinds of methods. For method 1, syllabary, you just need to turn to the syllabary and then find out the page, and then turn to page set 3. But when you use the method of 部首, you have to turn to page set 1 to find out the page on page set 2, and then find out the page on page set 3, and then you get it. The last part of this video is how to choose a good dictionary. First, I recommend paper dictionary. I do not recommend an e-dictionary. And the second, I think a Chinese dictionary is the best choice for Chinese learners, because you have to try to explain Chinese characters or words in Chinese, but not in English or in any other language. To the specific dictionaries, this dictionary is for, I think it's for intermediate learners. And if you are advanced learners, you can choose other kinds of dictionaries such as 辞海 or 词源 or 中华大词典 or any other kind of dictionary. But this dictionary is enough for most of us. So as a native speaker, I use this dictionary. So that's all for today's video. If you think it's useful for you, please give a like to me. And if you want to learn more about Chinese and Chinese language, you can subscribe my channel. If you have any question or suggestion, you can send it to me and I will reply to you if possible. So that's all. Bye bye.